Hello. So far, we have learned the concept of compensation and benefits. We have learned the objectives behind creating a compensation model. And third, we have also understood the work that goes behind planning a compensation strategy. Today, we are going to talk about the factors that influence the compensation. So let's move ahead. The factors affecting employee compensation can be categorized into two: internal factors and external factors. The internal factors are like ability to pay, the organization's ability to pay, the business strategy, job evaluation and performance appraisal, and things around employee. We'll talk in details about those. The external factors that affect the employee compensation are the labor market, going rate, productivity, cost of living, labor union, and labor laws. Let's talk about the internal factors first. The internal factors exist within the organization and influence the pay structure of the company. These are as follows. One, ability to pay. And when we say ability to pay, it's the organization's ability to pay. The prosperous or big companies can pay higher compensation as compared to the competing firms, whereas the smaller companies can afford to maintain their pay scale up to the level of competing firms or sometimes even below the industry standards. Number two, the business strategy. The organization's strategy also influences the employee compensation. In case the company wants the skilled workers so as to outshine the competitor, will offer more pay as compared to the others. Whereas if the company wants to go smooth and is managing with the available workers, will give relatively less pay or equivalent to what others are paying. Third is the job evaluation and performance appraisal. The job evaluation helps to have a satisfactory differential pays for the different jobs. The performance appraisal helps an employee to earn extra on the basis of his performance. So in the last chapter, we have talked about the steps behind the steps that are taken to plan a compensation strategy, and job evaluation was one of those. So this is where it adds the value. And performance appraisal, as we all know, that based on the performance of an employee, he has a scope of earning better than other employees. And the fourth factor is employee himself. The employee or a worker himself influences the compensation in one of the following ways. One is the performance. The better performance fetches more pay to the employee, and thus, with the increased compensation, they get motivated and perform their job more efficiently. The second employee factor is his experience. As the employee devotes his years in the organization, expects to get an increased pay for his experience. Also, the kind of experience that he carries, even outside the organization, the experience that he carries in a specific skill or role also carries that weightage. The third employee factor is his potential. The potential is worthless if it gets unnoticed. Therefore, companies do pay extra to the employees having better potential as compared to the other people. We would now talk about the external factors. The factors that exist out of the organization but do affect the employee compensation in one or the other way. These factors are as follows. One, the labor market. The demand for and supply of labor also influences the employee compensation. The low wage is given in case the demand is less than the supply of labor. On the other hand, high pay is fixed in case the demand is more than the supply of labor. Number two external factor is the going rate. The compensation is decided on the basis of the rate that is prevailing in the industry. That is the amount the other firms are paying for the same kind of work. Where do we get all of this information? Is through salary benchmarking surveys and research. Third external factor is the productivity. Here the productivity is the organization's productivity plus the employee's productivity leading to organization productivity. So the compensation increases with the increase in the production. Thus, to earn more, the workers need to work on their efficiencies that can be improved by way of factors which are beyond their control. The introduction of new technology, new methods, better management techniques are some of the factors that may result in the better employee performance, thereby resulting in the enhanced productivity. Fourth factor, the external factor, is the cost of living. The cost of living index also influences the employee compensation in a way that with the increase or fall in the general price level, the consumer price index, the wage or salary is to be varied accordingly. Fifth external factor is the labor unions. The powerful labor unions influences the compensation plan of the company. The labor unions are generally formed in the case where the demand is more and the labor supply is less or is involved in the dangerous work and therefore demands more money for endangering their lives. The non-unionized companies or factories enjoy more freedom with respect to the fixation of the compensation plan. The sixth external factor is the labor law. There are several laws passed by the government to safeguard the workers from the exploitation of employers. The Payment of Wages Act 1936, the Minimum Wages Act 1948, the Payment of Bonus Act 1965, Equal Remuneration Act 1976, Payment of Gratuity Act 1972 are some of the acts passed in the welfare of the labor, and all the employers must abide by these. Thus, there are several internal and external factors that decide the amount of compensation to be given to the workers for the amount of work done by them. So we do understand that there are a lot of factors that are crucial to be considered, and they have a very strong influence on how an organization structures their compensation and benefits. We have learned about what goes behind. Now we have understood what influences, what are the things around the compensation structure that influences the structure. And going forward, we are going to talk about the types of compensation in our next chapter. Until then, I recommend reading much more in detail to understand the topics that we have already covered in depth. I'll see you soon in the next video.